Danny on the beat, boy.
Welcome to another episode of Halftime Adjustments. It's your host, Eddie Arnell, my man G Witt, Mr. J. Lou. What's going on, gentlemen?
Tighten up, baby.
Man, week 3 of the 2023 preseason for the Tennessee Titans is down. It's complete. The Titans get a victory over the Patriots 23-7. You know, wanted to see, this is 3 weeks in, guys. We've had a joint practice with the Vikings. We've had a little blue and white scrimmage, this past week. And, you wanted to see some progress. We're going to talk about the offensive line tonight, what you guys think about that. Is the number 2 QB position finalized? And then we'll also look at the 53-man roster final stab at it and see what we come up with tonight. A lot to talk about in a short amount of time, but we're going to get to it real quick, man. Again, come in, get your comments, your questions in on the show. We appreciate y'all joining us tonight for another episode of Halftime Adjustment. So, J. Lou!
Yes, sir.
So, man, after 3 weeks, we've seen the new offense somewhat, not a whole bunch, but we get an idea of what it's going to be like. We've seen this newly rebuilt offensive line. We've seen the ones a bunch in the preseason as far as offensive line goes.
Yes.
Give me two. I'll give you 3. Give me 3 takeaways since it's week 3. 3 takeaways from this football team at this point of the preseason from your perspective.
I'm glad you said 3 because I'll go all 3 phases of the team. So I'll start with offense. I think that on the offensive side of the ball, this still is going to be a run-first team, but it's going to be a different type of run-first team. I really feel good about Spears being a backup that's going to be somewhat different than what we've seen here with Derrick Henry. He's going to be, and again, knock on wood, but so far from what we've seen, he's going to be what everybody thought Dion Lewis could try to be. Meaning that, I think for the first time, we've actually got a backup running back that can come on the field and you automatically don't know it's a pass because he can run. We've seen him run between the tackles. Right. So I think even though it's a run first offense and that's how this team is built, I think it's going to be a different, not 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Now again, take game 3 with a grain of salt because I think that was Vrabel just out there trolling to play safe. Let me just be honest, especially that first half. I think they were just being safe. But if you go back to the first 2 that we've seen, I'm almost positive that that's some of the changes you'll see as well as playing fast. On defense, this defense might be underrated. And by underrated, I mean not a lot of folks in the national media talks about this defense. We see a lot of it here being local, but I think that when I say underrated, I think this defense is going to surprise a lot of people on the national level with how scary it's going to be. Right. And I think that we're strong enough on the front end and the back end, surprisingly, that it might mask some of the opportunities you have at that linebacker position. But if they can think about what the front 4 starting, and again, I know it's preseason, the Patriots had who they had out there. You still got to go out there and beat the man one-on-one.
That's right.
The starting defensive line minus Tart, Big Jeff, and Arden Key went out there and wreaked havoc for 9 straight plays and got off the field. Danico Autry looked like he ain't missed this. He looked like Danico pre-knee injury last year, and we kept saying it. We saw how much he probably is the most important piece on this D-line last year than even Big Jeff. And again, I love me some Big Jeff. But I think this defense is underratedly going to be a very scary defense. And then thirdly, Vrabel, and I'm going to have to put Rand in this boat right now because he's the GM. But Vrabel just hates the kicking game for a team that needs kickers. I mean, we are so it's kind of funny, as a Titan fan over the last 25 years of Titans been in existence, we locked McNair out of the building. We have quarterback issues forever. We cut Suck up because we didn't let him work through the injury. He goes and gets a Super Bowl, and we ain't had a kicker since. So I mean, it's just like that position is cursed right now. Yep. But I really and it is. As much as the NFL comes down to, let's just be honest, 1-score games,
Yes.
The kicking is very important. Now, I'll take that with a grain of salt and say, let's wait and be patient and see what they're cooking up. Because if you look, there is still a lot of veteran kickers, some who make Nashville their home still, that are available. So it'll be interesting to see Tuesday at 3 p.m. But if you listened to our show last week, I'm pretty certain we said I didn't think the kicker that we were going to have on week 1 was on the team yet. But that'll be my three takeaways from the preseason.
G Whip, man, give me your 3 takeaways for week 3 of this 2023 preseason for the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, I will tell you what I've been telling everybody when they ask me about the team. What do you think about the team? First of all, that defense is legit. That defense is absolutely legit. And I'm sorry, I know it's preseason, so I'm trying. You don't get too excited, but even in preseason, when you hold a NFL offense to 79 total yards, that's the whole game. Okay, that's just something to be said. I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Right.
So I will say this defense legit. I will say we do lack speed at the inside linebacker outside of Azir. But other than that, I think we're in pretty decent shape all the way around. Like J. Lou said, that front four, minus Tart, minus Big Jeff, still wreaked havoc. It was just amazing to see. I mean, Nico just had his way.
Right.
It was just. I mean, I'm sorry, the man got pushed to the ground, got knocked down, got up, caused a fumble, and still gets a sack out of it. Come on. So I thought the secondary looked good. I was surprised. Both J-Lo and I were surprised that they played as long as they did. But it was just a quarter. But I mean, just seriously, Azir just showed his truth when he bust through the line and just stopped a run play dead in his tracks.
Man, laid him up.
I mean, he laid him up. So the number one defense is legit. The offense, while I agree about Spears, I think he is what the Titans have been looking for ever since Deion Lewis. Better than Deion Lewis in the fact that he can run between the tackles, whereas you knew Deion Lewis couldn't do it. I think that's great, but I will say this: I did have a big disappointment more so in that offensive line. There were way too many middle errors and missed assignments and everything that really caused the offense to struggle running the ball at the beginning. I think they finally found their footing, but still, you saw Dillard had to stay out there for pretty much through the third quarter because he was blowing assignments and everything. So, and that's the concern, and it's always been the concern, and really, in all honesty, if it's going to be that offensive line coming together for the Titans to do what we would like to see them do. And that's playing and winning through the first Sunday in February. So, offensively, I think I thought Malik was okay. Sometimes he's his own worst enemy. Can't get out of his own way. Vrabel, it wouldn't even name a number 2 quarterback yesterday. So I thought that was interesting. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be Malik. But I think Levis still has a shot of playing if he can work on his mechanics a little bit more and everything, get somewhat healthy. I think he'll be able to play. I agree with you, man. This kicking game is it can drive you nuts, man. It doesn't make any sense. You're right. Since we got hurt, we have not had a consistent kicking game, and it's been like a doggone revolving door every time you turn around. Each season, we're coming up with new kickers and everything, and it just doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure what their thinking is over there. I mean, we saw the day that Bagley got cut, and really, when you think about it, he should have been cut on Tuesday when he first got there because he was missing kicks from the left hash the whole day. But it didn't make any sense. I mean, they even that one drill they had, they got down there and called a timeout with 1 second left on the clock, had him perfectly lined up, and he shanked it. So that's going to be a problem. I thought the punting game was okay for what little Stonehouse had to do, but really on the special teams, man, they have got to get this kicking game resolved. You cannot go into the season that unsure with your kicking game, and it's amazing to me. You know, 1 year was the long snapper, the holder, and now it's like we just can't keep a kicker. You know, we can't have a kicker who's consistent. I mean, you know, Bagley gets in there, and his first kick, he dunks it off the upright to go through. So, yeah, it's that game. That's going to drive us nuts throughout the whole season. So that's my 3 takeaways from the game on Friday night.
Yeah, and so I got some similar things as you guys. Offensive line again, we can't say it enough. Still got some issues, especially in the run game. Man, it was like one of the blocks they showed on the TV was supposed to be in a double team and come off and chip, and Dillard just I don't even know what he was doing. He missed the linebacker completely. So it's still like you said, Jay Lou, it's still gonna be a work in progress. They got 2 weeks to get it together, and we'll see, because they're going against a tough New Orleans front. New Orleans has got one of the best defensive fronts in the NFL, typically. Again, like you mentioned, Malik, he just can't get out his own way. I will say he is a lot better than he was last year. You know, you look at it though, the ebbs and flows of him playing quarterback. He was 1 for 5, and then he was like perfect after that. He was 14 or 15. And so, but he throws 2 bonehead interceptions. Again, he got baited on the cover 2 linebacker right underneath and didn't see him from like he did last week. And so, you know, he 211 yards, 2 touchdowns with those 2 picks, man. I mean, he throws a dime to Kyrus Jackson in the end zone. I mean, between 2 defenders. Again, you know, I think he's way better, but he's just not ready. I agree with you, Jay Lou. He can stand one more season of learning on the bench behind Tannehill. And you guys mentioned Tajay Spears, man. It's definitely the truth. The wide receiver room is going to be a little different because of some injuries. Some people going to make the team that shouldn't probably make it. We'll get into that in just a minute. And then, like you guys said, I really enjoyed seeing that defense last night. You didn't have everybody. I mean, how about Harold Landry in coverage last night? How about Harold Landry? I know Jay Lou was probably scratching his head on that.
I was yelling at Shane. I was in mid-season form already, yelling at Shane on the sideline.
But you saw a sneak peek of how special this defense can be. I mean, even the back end. I don't care who was playing. Like you said, this is the NFL. You make a team. You own a team for a reason, even in preseason. I mean, for them to shut the Patriots down the way they did, I really enjoy watching them. It's just a sneak peek. It's just a little taste of what we're going to see during the season. And again, think about it, guys. They weren't running any blitzes, hardly. They were running some twist stunts, and they were still getting that.
Yes.
Still getting that. So those are my 3 takeaways. So, G-Wit, man, let's talk about this offense a little bit more in depth, and tell me some things that you also picked up on that side of the ball that you liked last night. I say it that way. That you liked. I emphasize liked.
Well, yeah. The thing I will say, though, in all honesty, you know, and I'm hard on Malik, but I will say it was good, even after throwing those interceptions. You know, him coming back and playing well. I think the one thing we're going to find out with this offense, and I think Tim Kelly will adjust for it if he has to play, is that we'll probably see a lot more RPOs and him moving outside of the pocket as opposed to standing in the pocket, because when you look at the interceptions, they've all come from when he was standing inside the pocket. He tends to throw better when he's on the move. He can see a little bit clearer. That last touchdown pass he threw to Jackson was really a beautiful play by him, individual play, where he got out of the sack and everything and went to the sideline and actually saw him and dropped a dime on him between 2 defenders. I thought that was probably one of his best passes. Also, the one he threw to Julius Chestnut for the touchdown, I thought that was a really good play. And I just noticed that about him. It's better when he gets on the move.
Yeah.
You know. And so I think that's pretty good. And I thought receiving wise, I was glad to see Colton Dowell get a couple of catches. That one catch he made on the I don't think it was a slant, but he was a cross, but he was low and he made a good grab on it and made some good moves. The only thing I will say, I don't expect him to play too much this season, and he may just be on the practice squad while it's just struggling. And it's a little bit. He comes from that wide open spread offense in Cincinnati, so it's hard for him to adjust. I think he's good, but I just think he's just not ready. But overall, other than the offensive line, which was the biggest disappointment for me, I thought the offense did pretty well. I mean, they moved the ball up and down the field. I was upset with the fact that the defense got a turnover. You had the ball inside the 5, and you settle for a field goal.
Yeah. And that's something we talked about with Wiley during the draft, J. Lou, that he came out of a school where he was spread out a lot. He was a good blocker in space, but his inline blocking could use some help. I mean, he's improved some, but we can see that he's probably not ready to play a full season in a important role. But that goes to say, man, there's some other tight ends though that's gonna make a name for themselves on this 53 roster. Let me say this, man. Thank y'all for coming out, Dion, Taylor Stokes, K. Lou in the building. Get some of these comments, man. Dion says defense is a beast. Malik is better. Still work in progress. Tajay Spears is the truth. Kiera, hey baby, how you doing?
Thank you.
Matt, hey man, appreciate you joining us tonight. And somebody pointed out the stiff arm by Tajay Spears. Joe, that was a joke, man. Appreciate that comment. Teaching him well. Kwanya, we don't have a kicker right now. As of today, we don't have a kicker. They cut him. So if you can kick, man, you might need to go out there and see if you can't get picked up. So J. Lou, man, talk to me about this offense, man.
But yeah, so as we was talking offline, I told you I think this was Malik's best game he's played as a pro, period. You want to see progression. And again, you got to look at Malik as a project. Last year, he was not supposed to play.
No.
That's what they drafted him for. He was thrown into the fire. You can tell it was too fast for him. Even when they tried to dumb it down, it wasn't working. And you saw him bring somebody with NFL experience. I'm not saying Josh Dobbs is a better QB, but NFL experience with Cena brought him in
Makes
off
a
the
difference
to play. So you see that. I mean, I saw several plays in the first half and even the second half. I was there the entire first half where Malik last year takes off and runs. You're at least seeing him make the progressions. The touchdown that he threw to Jackson, you see him scramble and square back up to kind of get set.
There you go.
And then throw the ball. And that's something you wouldn't have seen last year. So again, I think that the one good thing as a Titan fan you have to hope for is that this time next year, and again, if they don't sign Tannehill, we'll get to that when year comes. But in a perfect scenario, you would like for Malik and Willis to both be Malik and Levis to both be developing to where that you're trying to figure out who's your franchise quarterback between them two next year, and they make it tough because they're so good. And again, I thought, you saw him. Now we still got to do a better job of getting the play call in, delay of games and whatnot. And still take it to
pissed.
He was pissed.
Whoa.
And it seems like the delay of games are coming after big plays. So we got to do a better job getting it in and getting the line and getting them there. But and even with the young wide receivers, I agree with Colton Dow. I don't think he quite makes the 53. I think you can sneak him through to practice squad only because you're cutting like 1,500 players at one time. So you probably can get him back through the practice squad. And then the offensive line that we mentioned that. I'll tell you this. Nothing has separated the offense. We kept saying, and again, the first 6 weeks of the season is still a long time to go, but nothing has separated at right tackle for NPF not to have a shot when he comes back. No. I'm just going to be honest. Even though he ain't got a lot of playing time, and I think they know what they have there, I don't think that anybody's separated enough to take that position. The only spots I truly felt comfortable about on the offensive line, I think Brewer is solidified and doing a great job at center and taking control of that line. And even just seeing him on the sideline, you see him being a leader that you need from an offensive line. And then the offensive rookie, Peter Skorowski. I mean, he's just
give that to Big Jeff.
Yeah, I was gonna say Big Jeff and Danico. I mean, because he's going out there and he's just handling his own. Brunskill left early the other night. Hope that's something minor. Because he's been solid on that side. So, but we still got to solidify that. But again, I think when the offense really gets schemed and gets going, I think you see Tim Kelly do some fast things to kind of mask that offensive line with some quick passes, et cetera, rushing to the line. And we saw some glimpses of that. But overall, like I said, I know Vrabel hits you with I don't know who my number 2 is. We all know it's Malik for at least the first month of the season. I was just satisfied seeing Malik be able to take to the coaching and see his development.
Yeah, and so Taylor asked a question. He says, "Who do we blame that improvement on? Is it having a new OC or better coach?" So Charles London, man,
Charles London.
you got to give it to Charles London. He
Yes.
is a I'm not gonna call him a quarterback guru, but he's a great coach.
Yes.
You know, he was what he did with Davis Mills and Tim Kelly when they were there, and so he's brought that same work and tenacity, effort to Malik, and you can see the fruits of the labor so far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Malik is miles from where he was last year. I mean,
Yes.
bar none.
Yes.
Now, if and this is a big if he had to play this year, he would be in a better position. I'm not saying the results will be that much different. Don't get me wrong, but he would be better suited this year than what he was last year with your guy. But man, these guys at halftime, the Titans had 192 yards of offense. I know this is preseason, but for the Titans, just go back to last year. We ain't even got to talk about that. We just talk about the preseason from last year.
Yes.
So they didn't have nothing. And so, you know, it's another game, 368 yards of total offense, right? For this offense. And Malik had 131 passing yards at halftime. And so, I mean, like I said, you like what you see so far, and this is just the beginning. So it's going to be when everybody's in there and they're full blowing, man, with you know, Hop in there, when Burks comes back and Chig and all those guys on the field. It's going to be nice to see if the offensive line can fix their issues, which I said they got 2 weeks to go. And I agree with you both that the right tackle position is still available. Yeah. I do like the guy from Arizona, the Murray guy. I know they cut the other Murray, so they didn't cut the Arizona Cardinal Murray, so don't get that twisted. I think he still could be in the running for that right tackle position because Hubbard's not impressive to me. He's probably a step or two above Duncan, the rookie. Yeah. And so you know, we'll see what happens. And so yeah, man, this offense is looking like it's going to be a problem when the offensive line gets together. Yeah. And so on the flip side, though, Jay Lou, and I'll come back to you for the defensive side this time. So man, talk about it, because my boy, man, Danico, I mean, it teared me up a little bit to see him ball like that.
Hey, man, Danico, he was on a mission. Like, I mean, I'm texting G Witt while we at the game, and after the second series, the turnover, I'm like, okay, they're done now. Yeah. They come back out and still do the same thing. And again, it was no scheme. It was just basic, base defense. Effort. I'll tell you this. I knew y'all talked about G Witt, and you talked about Azir filling the hole on the run play. That ain't even the best play he had. No. Go back and look. It might have been the last drive the defense played. It's a third down play. The running back sneaks out of the backfield, and he is right there, step for step with the running back, which made I'm almost positive that one was a sack because it made the quarterback hold the ball just a little longer. So, and I mean that's you got it. To me, that's probably one of our underrated pickups from the season. If he hits like he is, he's more important to the defense to me than Arden Key is when I look at free agent pickups, just because of what we need at that middle linebacker spot. And then just seeing Hooker and Byard, health aside, if they can both stay healthy, this could be a top 3 safety combo in the league. And I'm not just saying it as a Titan fan. I'm saying it as a football fan. These like Hooker and we've seen it. We saw it last year before he got hurt and all the time. Mm-hmm. Back there on the back end, them two just play so well off each other. It's like night and day difference. And then I can tell you this, and this is for Dion. Dion, I can tell that your boy Anthony Midget ain't on the sideline no more because we see a lot of man coverage press. And I don't see a lot of 10 yards off the ball at all. So you can tell so far. And again, it's only what you want to see through camp. The new coaches, the new blood that was implemented on this coaching staff seems to be taken in their positions. You can see the change in some of those positions. But this defense, as I said in the opening, man, it has the potential to be a scary, underrated defense. Only because, and when I say underrated, that's only because nobody talks about the Titans, so therefore that defense has to be underrated. But I think they're gonna sneak up on a lot of people this year.
So let me get this question real quick. G, not coming. He says Kanye says how many turnovers does Wiley have this preseason? 2 that I can recall against the Bears. Is it? So he had a third one too. What was the third one?
The interception, the first interception Friday night.
That's right.
That's right. So yeah, three turnovers that he was involved with, and so. Yeah, we'll talk about Caleb Murphy, excuse me, in just a second. But go ahead, G. Go ahead, G. We talk about this defense.
Well, I mean, Jay Lou pretty much covered it, but I just have to say, first of all, man, it was just good to see. You get out there and you look, and I'm telling you, it's similar to the feeling I had back in 2008 when we played a preseason game. I think it was against the Saints. And of course that's when the Pretty was still coaching, and I think Schwartz was still on the sideline, but they lined up the front four. And you looked at that front four, it was Kurtz, Van Bosch, Albert Hainsworth, and I forget the fourth guy name from I think it was Michigan or Michigan State or something like that. But anyway, you looked at that squad and it was like, who you gonna block?
Mm-hmm.
Who you gonna double? And it's similar to that with this defensive line we have now. I think when you see Archery and then you're going to see Big Jeff and you'll see Pop-Tart in there, it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be pick your poison. And regardless of which one you pick, you're still going to lose. I thought Landry played good. He showed great bend. I thought he moved really well, even when they had him in coverage. so I thought he moved really well. I thought Rashad Weaver played a lot better. I thought he did really well. So of course, like I said, Azir, I thought he played well. You're right on that play when he covered the running back out the backfield. I was just glad to see. First of all, you got a linebacker that can play all three downs.
Yes.
And, and I think the thing that helps out with this defense is that, you got somebody like Dr. Gibbs who could come out there and play the first on the running downs, but you can also, to go back to your point, Eddie, with both of you with the safeties, you can move Kevin Byard down to play a linebacker position, bring Molden in to play another safety, and you still keep Hooker back there playing free. Yeah. It's just you see some things in this defense that we haven't seen before, as far as interchangeable parts and being able to move parts around and keep the same players on the field the whole time. And again, that experience and people being able to recognize things and the communication that they're going to have on the field is going to be great. I thought Sean Murphy-Bunting did a great job, even though he got that one PI. But
which was legit.
Yeah.
It was legit, but I also thought Fulton did a good job. I was watching him, and then you see, I mean, it's just kind of crazy you see, because when they went into nickel, you see McCreary comes in, and I'm like, man, I'm like you, J. Lou, the national media ain't talking about the Titans, but I will say this. The one person I know who's going to probably brag about this defense, that's going to be your boy on NFL Live. My boy from the Cowboys, big man.
Big man balling.
Big man balling. Swagoo.
Swagoo, man. Swagoo's going to talk about it, man, because he's going to be like, man, this defensive line is a monster. Mm-hmm. And people are just not talking about him. But I'm interested to see how it's going to pan out. That linebacker position really is the only one that bothers me. And plus, I'm waiting to see if they're going to pick up any more DB depth experience off the waiver wire, because that Trey Avery has not really impressed me that much. Even though he played pretty decent last year, that's the area where I'm concerned about depth, is at the corner position, because I just don't see enough of it with those who played in the second half and everything. I didn't think they played as well as I would like to have seen them play. But other than that, man, I go by what I've been telling everybody. The defense is legit. And the defense is going to have to carry this team for probably the first 4 to 6 weeks to give us an opportunity to win.
I do like what Azir said after the game, though. He's like, on paper, but we got to put it on tape.
Yeah,
we got to put it on tape, so we can talk about it all we want to.
Yeah,
but until they come week 1, they come out of there 1-0. Then right now it's just on paper. It's just on paper, right? But you do, like I said, I was excited because we didn't have the full front on the field, and they were dominating up front. And I love the interchangeable parts, because, like you said, Moldy can come play in the box, Byard. And so you remember we talked about this last year. That started last year against Dallas when Bowen put Byard in the box, and we saw him playing all over the field, different positions. And because of some injuries to the secondary, he had to do a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And so he found out that last year that he's that versatile.
Mhm.
And so, but yeah, the defense is great. Getting to the football, I mean, the tackling was better. I'm with you, G. With the concern to me is the depth of the secondary and the linebacker position, because after you got Gibby and Campbell and Rice is flaming out, it seems like at this point. And so, what are you gonna do there? And especially if he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, Deon, I agree with you, man, that Vrabel and Rand are loading this roster with a bunch of versatile individuals, and get that off there. And so, yeah, it's good, man. Big Jeff didn't play, Pop Tart didn't play, and the defense still balled out. So, it's going to be interesting to get down to 53, and they got to be down to 53 by Tuesday of this week. Is that right, Jay Lou?
Yes, sir.
3 o'clock.
And
3
and
p.m.
so,
Tuesday.
So that kind of segues us into our 53 man, our first shot at making the cut. Now, Deon speaks of Caleb Murphy. We'll talk about him and his position in just a minute, because you listen to some of the pundits, man. They was like, no, we shouldn't keep him. He'll make it back to the practice squad. They don't think he, because he's I'm gonna say a one-trick pony. That's what they're saying, right?
Yeah,
he can only rush
working
pass.
for other teams, man.
Yeah, I know. And so, let's take a look at it, guys. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, we all agree, and we already know the quarterback position's got 3 guys, right? Because of the new rule this year, where that third spot doesn't count toward the 53. They're able to carry that third quarterback for an emergency situation. Running backs, again, no brainer here. Henry, Spears, and Chestnut. I know you guys agree with that.
Yeah.
Haskins is gone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So there's no room. Now, Jocks Patrick, I see him practice squad if he makes it through waivers. But I see him on the practice squad. He's at least earned that. Let's talk about the receiver room, G Witt. So I'm gonna let you read yours out first, and then Jay Lou, and then I'll come at the end and see if it's a little different, because I think it changes from what it was going to be until we had these injuries.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. I mean, in all honesty, I still have, of course, you got D-Hop and Burks. I still say, Kyle Phillips, he's going to be there. I got Jackson making it. I'm still putting Dowell on the squad, man. I'm not saying, cut him and then put him back on the practice squad. I'm not saying that. I think really he's a type of player. I think, and that's one thing I think I saw. I'm going to say Friday night that I thought was how the receiving coaches, Rob Moore, was getting on him about some things, letting him know some things. And I'm like, generally, when you see coaches on you like that, they really like what you do and they want you to be better. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking he's going to be on there. And like I said, Jackson. And I'll be honest with you, the surprise one, I think Mason Kinsey makes it, man.
Wow. Okay.
Because, I mean, you look at it from this standpoint, and this is the only reason I say that, man, because I think he showed, while he may not have the speed you like or the physicality you like as a wide receiver, I think he's a good punt returner if you need him. I think if he showed again playing QB, running RPOs, that he can handle that pretty well also. So I don't know. I just think his versatility makes him more available to be on that team. I don't see NWI making it. I just, that's just me. I just don't.
And so how many you got there? 6?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Jay Lou.
You didn't have NWI or Chris Moore.
Didn't have Chris Moore on there.
Hey, man, look. Chris Moore bothers me, man.
Yeah, that's just
and we just lost G.
We lost G Witt.
Right.
Chris Moore sniped him. So I've got 6. I've got D-Hop, Burks, Phillips. I've got Chris Moore, NWI, and Jackson. Now I'm gonna preference this because my 6 is a little different. I've got Kyle Phillips. This is the initial 53 by Tuesday. I've got Kyle Phillips on the initial 53 Tuesday at 3 p.m. I have Kyle Phillips getting put on the IR right after he gets on the 53, and it has to happen afterwards so he can come back. Mm-hmm. So I have him making the initial 53, and then if he does get placed on IR, because I think they do that to just buy him at least 4 weeks with his knee, then I elevate Colton Dow. I think if he slides through for that day, gets the practice squad, then I elevate him back to take that 6th spot. But I just think because of the uncertainty with Burks still right now, again, I'm more leaning towards Kyle Phillips being placed on IR than Burks. But because of the uncertainty with those two, I think one thing we have to remember, even though we have a new GM, Vrabel is still the head coach, and they use that word collaborate a lot. And NWI is a Vrabel player. Yeah. And I think that loyalty is what will slide him in only because of the uncertainty at the beginning of the season. But that would be my initial 6. And I think Jackson makes it. I have Jackson making it over Mason Kinsey because I think that he's a better in the return game than anything. That's the only thing that separates them. But Mason Kinsey definitely on the PS if he don't make the initial.
Hey, just to finish my thought before I was cut, I don't know what happened. But talking about Chris Moore scares me because he double catches the ball a lot. Mm-hmm. The ball is hitting him in his hand and he's, I just can't. I don't want to see that. Not when you got somebody like D-Hop who's in practice wearing gloves and catching the ball on the tip of the ball.
No, he's not wearing gloves.
He ain't wearing gloves in practice.
Without gloves. No, I don't like seeing receivers double catch the ball like that. You got to, I can see if you get hit or something, you have to do that. But the ball's hitting him right in the hands, and he's double catching it. That's just not good.
Right. And so the only thing I'll say as far as that, because I agree with you both. I'm not sure, but the only reason I say Kinsey makes it because of the uncertainty to the injuries and NWI. If it wasn't for that, if Burks and Phillips was healthy, it's no way NWI is on this team.
100% agree.
There's no way he's on this team.
Yeah.
And so I say they make the team because of that uncertainty, like you said, J. Lou, and then Phillips going to IR, missing the first 6 games. I do like Jackson. I do like Moore. I think Robeson goes back to the practice squad again. He just. Yeah, he's flashed some, but not enough. And then, like you said, Kinsey and NWI. So so I like that by both of you guys. Tight end wise, Chig, Alize Mack. I got him making the squad. And then what's the guy? I can't pronounce his name.
Thomas O.
Oh, Thomas O. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think they carried 3 tight ends. With Wiley probably going to the practice squad.
I carried 4. I did. Okay. I put Alize Mack. I thought Josh White. I just wasn't. So I looked at it like this: Chig and Wiley to me are your wide out type tight ends, and Wesco and Thomas O are more of your inline blocking. So I went with 4 strictly because I know we like to run 2 tights, and that would be
right.
You got 2 of each. But it was between Wiley and Mac, and I had Mac sliding to the practice squad.
Okay.
Yeah, and I pretty much had almost the same thing. I had Thomas O and Chig, and originally I had Wiley, but again after the game the other night, I'm like, okay, now he's just you got to let him slide through to the practice squad and then pull him back. But I did think that Wesco might make it, and I also thought Mac would be on there as well if you're gonna carry 4.
Yeah, I don't know about Wesco, man. It's just they've picked up some of these guys like Thomas O. Vrabel, he talks him to death.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Hey, now if you watch him in the games, in all 3 games, his blocking, he's definitely a strong blocker.
Yeah.
And my question on him, because you just haven't seen him throw the ball to him, can he catch? But as far as blocking, run blocking, chipping, all that, he's on the team. Him and Chig are probably going to be out there together, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And so Taylor says, "Isn't that a drink?" It is, Taylor.
It is.
Very funny that you bring that up, sir. Let's go over and look at the offensive line real quick, guys. And so we know the starters: Dillard, Skoronski, Brewer, Brunskill. I'm not sure about Hubbard just yet. I'm still not sold there. But here's who I got. The other 4. I got Levin, Ruse, Duncan, and the other Murray.
I got the same exact 9.
Okay. What about you, G? What you get?
Pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, I don't know how that's going to work out. Jay Lee, you have to explain to me about MPF.
So they have to carry 53. They'll have 53. NPF, Dylan and Caleb Farley will not count against the 53 because they'll be on suspended or the pup list.
Pup list. Yep.
Yeah, but just going back to our earlier conversation, I agree with you, man. Nobody NPF's job is right now is very secure. I just didn't see anybody out there. Hubbard's a backup for a reason.
Yeah,
he's a backup for a reason, and I just didn't see anybody else. Now Murray might prove us wrong in that regard, but Hubbard, man, I agree with you. Pass blocking and run blocking is suspect. So I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, I say NPF's position is secure, and when he comes off suspension, he'll probably be plugged right back in.
One more thing from a roster standpoint to just keep in mind. Anybody that they sign off a waiver wire or practice squad has to go on the 53. So they'll set the initial 53 Tuesday, and then this thing probably will change Wednesday afternoon once the waiver wire and all opens up. So,
yeah,
that was it. I must. Taylor was reading my mind. I just see a question came up.
Right. Because they got to add a kick of some kind of way.
They
exactly
do.
Right.
They do.
You're exactly right. So let's look at the defensive line, guys, real quick. So we know we got Big Jeff, Tier, Autry. And then, so this is why I went. I don't think Naquan is on the team this year. I think they keep Peavy. I think they keep, here's another name that's hard. Mike D.
Darmford.
Yeah, Mike D. Mike D's had a sack just about every game he's been playing.
Yeah.
He's another variable guy. And I also think they keep Cal Pecco for some reason.
I got the same 6. I 100% agree with you with that. I think we keep 6 D linemen only because I'm thinking about November, December football, and if we stay healthy, those 6 that we name is not a big drop off when you just keep rotating them in, especially as you get to PV, Minnesota Mike is what Mike Vrabel calls him because he joined them in Minnesota. And Kyle Pico, I think when you get to rotate them in, it's not a big drop off with the other ones around. But I got the exact same 6.
What about you, G?
I didn't have the same 6 because one of the guys I did include was McClendon.
Okay.
But I had PV. I didn't take Pico, but he seems like a Vrabel guy in all honesty. So I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him. But yeah, everybody else is the same. Only person that I was confused about, in all honesty, was Dwumfor. I couldn't figure out his. I kept trying to picture him playing. I couldn't do anything until I saw him play Friday night. And I was like, oh, okay, now we're there.
He's always in the backfield.
Always. So yeah, I'm in agreement with them. I think Naquan has seen his last days as a two-tone blue on the squad and everything. I just don't, especially after last season. After last season, I just don't see him being on the squad this year.
Yeah, he got in the doghouse last year, and even when we was at practice the other day, you like, oh, there's Naquan. We didn't know he was out there.
Yeah, so. and he's coming off injuries still, so it's just one of them weird things.
All right, man. Let's look at the outside linebackers. With what? Yeah, we'll do it that way. Look at the outside linebackers. And so, of course, you got Landry, you got Key, you got Weaver, right? That's 3. All right. I think Caleb Murphy makes the team. How many is that? That's 4.
That's 4.
And then they keep Sam O. Those are my 5.
The only difference, and it literally was a coin flip between Samo and Thomas Rush. I went with Thomas Rush over Samo, but I got the exact same 4. I think there's no way Caleb will be LeGarrette Blount 2.0 if you think you're gonna sneak him through the practice squad. But yeah, that's the only difference I got is Rush instead of Samo.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what we talked about at the game. We was texting back and forth are they trying to hide him so he doesn't show out the whole game? From Bill Belichick, because he's gonna get out there and Bill Belichick will look at him and say, "Oh, let him go."
You talking about Caleb Murphy?
Yes, talking about Murphy. But I pretty much had the same ones. Landry and Weaver and Key, and also I thought about your boy Caleb Murphy as well. But I just think he makes the squad. I just think he's shown too much, and it's way too much of a risk to cut him and think you're going to slide him through in the practice squad. It's just not going to happen.
No, Dion, I think Jefferson Simmons gonna get cut, man. To answer your question, but hey, but see, here's what, and I know y'all have noticed this because we talked about, but here's what that has done. Weaver has been playing lights out because
yes,
because somebody pushed Caleb Murphy is right on his neck breathing.
Yep.
And look, I don't care what level of football it is. 25.5 sacks 1 year, and you follow it up with 15 and the season after that.
Yeah,
I don't care what level of football that is. That's production.
Well, and he showed it in the three preseason games. Man, he has the ability to not only get to the quarterback, but also to adjust and make different moves, have a secondary move, not just go with one move trying to get to the quarterback. You know, he can rush from the outside, but he'll spin on you in a heartbeat, or he'll sidestep you. You know, I've noticed that a couple of times and everything. So, yeah, and he's got a motor.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the one thing you can't replace. He's got a motor.
Yes.
So, yeah, I agree. I think after that first game against Chicago, I think you saw Weaver step up his game because he realized, hey, look, this guy's coming for my spot, and he might just take it.
Right. He's cutting into my reps.
Yep.
Inside backer, guys. Shazier Gibbons. This is a tough one. I don't know about Monty Rice. I'm kind of hesitant to say his name. Luke Gifford. You know, special teams wise, that's why I'm thinking him and Chance Campbell. I don't think Otis Reese makes the squad. I think he's practice squad. That's just my take on the inside backers. But go ahead.
I got the same four. I got Aziz, Dr. Jack, Campbell, and Gifford. I think Monty Rice is falling under that injury prone that you can't be productive. And Otis Reese, I think he's like the second player signed to the practice squad because I think they really like him.
Yeah. And I got no problem with that. I know Campbell is probably mainly because of his special teams play and everything, but I got no problem with that. And I'm agreeing with you with Monty Rice. And if he does not make the squad or anything like that, then if I'm not mistaken, him and Fulton are the last remnants of that 2020 draft. So you're going to be looking at just Fulton from then on. And so that's just let you know how much of a dud that draft actually was.
Yes.
But I can see Gifford. I thought he made some good plays and everything. And I can see Rice going to the Reese. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Reese.
To the practice squad and everything. So I'm cool with all of those.
All right, let's go with the cornerbacks real quick. So we got Bunting. We're good there. Fulton, we know 2. McQuarrie, 3. Garrar, I think he makes the team 4. And so here's the problem I have now, because Elijah Mosley plays safety and he can play some slot corner, so you can count him in either one of those there. So if you count him there, that's 5. I think they also keep for special teams wise. I'm sorry, yeah, because we're talking about cornerbacks. Shaim Carter. Now that's just my take. Either him or Josh Thompson, only because of special teams. But outside of those 4, I mean, you can flip a coin unless they bring in somebody off the street.
Yeah. So I went Fulton, Murphy Bunting, Roger, Garrar, and I went Trey Avery. I did 5, and I don't have Molden because I'm putting Molden. I include him with safety. Okay. So I'm going just 5 cornerbacks. I went with Avery and Garrar bringing up the 4th and 5th spots.
Okay. And I still got Avery down too, as far as the same 4 with you, J. Lou. But I got Avery down as well. Although I think it might be one of those things where you see if somebody good comes up on the waiver wire after the cuts and everything, Trey Avery may be one of the casualties of that, and they can find somebody better. But other than that, that position right there was really hard for me to pick because I didn't see Shaim Carter actually making it, the squad and everything. He might come back on the practice squad or whatever, but other than that, I didn't really see him making the team at all.
Yeah, I was only thinking special teams for him because we're not gonna put Elijah Mosley. Well, he played a lot of special teams here, but I would think they would try to reduce that as much as possible. Try to keep him healthy. But yeah, other than that, I wouldn't. He didn't have a position on the roster,
right?
If it's not special teams, and so Safeties, we kind of already hit on that. Bayer, Hooker, Molden, and Mike Brown is who I included with that group.
I added one more there. I did so where you did Carter and corners for special teams. I did Josh Thompson here.
Oh yeah,
special teams.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, and Eddie, I was right there with you. I only had the 4: Mike Brown, Kevin Bayer, Hooker, and Molden. And I wouldn't be surprised about Josh Thompson in all honesty, but I didn't pick him to make the squad or anything.
Right. And so that's our first shot, man. Yeah, get on that comment, get y'all's go to the Facebook page, put your 53 roster on there, who you think might make the squad, and or if you're on YouTube, man, put it in that chat as well. Who you think might make the squad? Are we right? Y'all got some other ones that we didn't mention? And put your thoughts out there and let us know, man. But guys, preseason is over. We made it out fairly healthy considering the last 2 seasons. I mean, Burks had a little injury. He's out for a couple games, maybe. Kyle Phillips, jury's still out on him, but for the most part, the offensive line is healthy. Even though they're kind of still trying to get their chemistry together. The secondary is healthy. Christian Fulton is healthy at this point. And then you got some healthy guys on the skill position on the offensive side of the ball. They hadn't said much about Chig. We saw him leave practice the other day.
Yeah,
was wondering about that.
Vrabel, I think Vrabel yesterday said that he expected him back this week, possibly.
Yeah,
I will say this about the injuries to the wide receiver room because we feel like that room is cursed. Even with the injuries, it's amazing what one player does because D-Hop on that position group still makes them better than anything we would have put out there last year. What do you think about it? Because I mean, so the halftime adjustment squad had the opportunity to go to training camp Tuesday, and I'm just gonna tell y'all, the man is as advertised when you see him. I'm pretty certain he probably had about 10 targets and got 8 of them. Easy. So I mean, he's still defenses are going to have to respect him. Which is why I feel like if Burks misses a game or so and Phillips is out, I think you can see those other ones have no choice but to elevate because they should see a lot of one-on-one coverage because of them having a role to Burks and respect King in the backfield. So I think silver lining about being able to get him on the squad is even when you took the injuries to your top 2 or 3, it still makes that room 1,000% better than what they were trotting out there last year with NWI as your 1. So.
And I'll tell you the honest truth, man. And the one thing we did see at that practice, you saw how much Tannehill was targeting him.
Yes,
and I'll say that's good and bad, but at least he's got a number 1 receiver he can target. It's no different than him. Because he was huge on targeting AJ Brown.
Yes,
when he was here. So at least he's got a safety blanket in that, and you got somebody who can make the catches. Yeah. I mean. I was glad we got to speak to him and everything, and just I was glad to have you on the team after you've been burning us for the past 7-8 years. So, but no, it was good. Again, that wide receiver room is going to be interesting to see how it washes out, especially on the initial 53. I mean, yeah, NWI could be on it, but again, I think you might see him on it for a little while. And Kyle Phillips come back, he might be off. You never know. That's going to be a fluid situation in that room. Really, the only ones you really know for sure is like Burks and D-Hop, for sure and everything. But I'm gonna go back and say it again. I don't trust Chris Moore. I just don't.
So for those because we hadn't seen D-Hop play in the preseason, so go back to the practice the other day. For those that hadn't seen him, he's still legit. It's not like he's going against slow cornerbacks out there, and he was beating people one-on-one. On deep balls, he was making adjustments with his body that you just don't see happen out of this normal receiver. So he still got the juice. Don't worry about that. Look, even Miss Amy was like, people were telling me like, why are you signing him? She's like, why not? Why not? I would her. Why not?
Yeah,
he still got game. I'm telling you,
he still got game.
You gonna be if you hadn't seen him out there, man, you are going to be in for a treat. Yeah. He's not that tall, though. I was surprised. I thought he was a little taller, but he's not that tall. But the guy can catch any ball. His catch radius is out of this world.
Yeah. And Tannehill at that practice was putting some throws that probably like, oh my God, where are you throwing? And it was caught.
Yeah,
him.
We get him back. I mean, we get him. You get Burks back healthy, and you get Kyle Phillips back in the mix, and Chick. This offense could be kind of special if the offensive line gets together.
And I take back my joking criticism of D Hop about him having stickum on his gloves and everything. I take that back.
You got to, because he practiced without gloves. You got to. The guy
I
catches
take that
everything.
back, man. D Hop is the truth, man.
It's so
you just feel bad for him that he had those years in Houston where he just didn't get to go further. So we're hoping he gets to go further with us. And I know that's what he wants to get done as well.
Yeah. It's on tape, Taylor. Just go back and look at them Houston days.
Yeah.
I don't know, Deion, because this is last year on the contract, man. People don't think he's going to come back. So we'll see. I mean, it's
a lot of it has to do with his age, too. He's 29.
Yeah.
So, running backs start going downhill. So they're just looking at it like he won't be back. But like I said, like you said about like NWI, Derrick Henry is definitely a Vrabel guy.
Oh, yeah.
So if Vrabel if they can figure out a way to keep him, then I think they'll try to keep him.
Yeah, I know what you meant, man. I'm just messing with you. So Octavius says, how we feeling about our matchup against the Saints in week 1? So Octavius, it's going to be a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
They got Derek Carr, new quarterback. He's in a different system. Mike Thomas is back healthy this year. They don't have Alvin Kamara for the first few weeks of the season, but they still got a good defense led by Cam up front. You got the Honey Badger on the back end, and you got Lattimore on the edge. And so you got some guys. You got one of the best inside linebackers in the game. It's going to be a tough game, especially for a new offense.
I think it's going to be a defensive battle.
Yeah, it's going to be a defensive battle, and it's going to come down, I think, to turnovers, right? Who turns the ball? Who can enforce their will? Can our offensive line get back that nastiness, J. Lou, that we saw that we got punked by the Bengals last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
In that game at home. So that's going to be the key. But, man, we're going to break that game down next week for y'all, man. We're going to get very in-depth with that matchup and talk about the Saints and see what the keys are going to be for that week 1 matchup since we got a break between the first week of the season. So we'll break that down next week. And, man, we thank y'all for all the questions and comments and support of the show. All the Facebook fans, all the YouTube guys checking in with us. We appreciate that, man. 2023, man, the season is here, guys. Week 1 is around the corner. We got a week where we'll talk about
a real game.
Upcoming, real game. Joe says he hope it don't come down to a kick. I know, man.
But now's the time to start getting nervous. There wasn't no need to get nervous about these preseason games, but now you start getting a little nervy about them because you don't know what's going to happen. Well, I'm really, but I say that because the offense is so unknown. You just don't know what's going to happen with that, and I'm just interested to see how Tim Kelly calls the game because, like J. Lou's been saying, everything has been very vanilla.
Yes,
and there has been no tricks, no nothing. There hasn't been, run your route, get open, but you saw some patterns.
I was about to say, you see the pass routes, you see the creativity, although it's basic concepts right now in my mind. Just go back to the Chicago game when Gavin Holmes was, schemed. Nobody around 10 yards around him. Nobody. So last night you saw Julius Chestnut wide open.
Yep.
So the scheme is there. We just hadn't seen the full brevity of it yet. But go ahead, Jay Lee. Like he's about to say something.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the kicker. So just some veteran kickers are still available.
Yeah.
Suckup's still available.
Suckup's still out there.
Mason Crosby still available. Robbie Gould has 49er ties. I think you see them bring in a kicker that's 37, 38 that still has a strong leg. A majority of them that I just named call Nashville home. At least a couple of them do. So I think that they were trying to go the cheap route at first, be honest. That's where you can save money on kickers. So you had a rookie and a 1 year. Bring in Bagley, who's been here before. He didn't cut out. I think as this 53 starts to round out, you'll see who might get cut and who will be available. But I think they bring in a veteran kicker that they're hoping that they roll the dice with. And I can tell you right now, one of these draft picks next year in the late rounds needs to be a kicker. You need to go ahead and solidify. I don't think you're going to get lucky hitting the undrafted one like you did on punter with kicker. We've tried that back-to-back years and just striking out. But I think Rand has a veteran in mind that they think can help solidify it this season at least.
Randy signed with somebody, didn't he?
Who?
Randy Bullock, Fat Randy. Didn't he sign with somebody?
I thought Randy was still available.
Oh, okay. Somebody, Darius said Randy Lamb.
But I would think that by them cutting Bagley today, I think they already got a kicker in mind.
That's exactly what I said.
So
I think they got a kicker in mind. It was like, okay, we'll do it this way.
Yeah.
And we do know that Stonehouse can kick off and put the ball through the end zone.
Oh,
yes.
I know they wanted to save his leg though. I mean, I understand it. But if he had to, we saw that already. So, Deion
back in the day, it used to be Craig Hendrick was doing the kickoffs and everything, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
But again, thank y'all, man, for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustment. Join us next week, man. It's a holiday weekend. But if you want to hear that breakdown of the Saints game, join us, man. We're gonna break it down for y'all. Week 1 matchup. It is game time. It is time. It's the real deal. It's time to see this offense. It's time to see the full-blown defense come out, man. It's gonna be exciting. I can't wait. I know you guys can't either, man. But thank y'all for joining us tonight. We are Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell G with J. Lou, man. We out of here. Peace.